You're saying you're a capitalist.
I am a proud and ardent
we
capitalist.
We don't have capitalism in America. This is a mixed economy.
We
have many aspects of socialism. We have for many
and those are the worst aspects of America. The most bankrupt, the most inefficient aspects of America are our socialist programs, such as the VA. The Veterans Administration, we spend $180 billion a year to try to take care of our vets. We have waiting lines, vets dying waiting for care.
So you want pure capitalism?
I would like to go more towards pure capitalism, but look, I'm also a pragmatist. I want lower taxes, less regulation, government spending to be scaled back, balanced budgets, and less power to go to Washington, D.C.
Okay, as a libertarian socialist, right, as you would know, workers controlling the means of production, right, that's just like an economic thing. I don't believe in big government, right? I believe
You don't?
No government.
No government.
Little to
So
no
you're an
government.
anarchist.
Yes. I believe in voluntary hierarchy and democracy.
Okay, so, wow. But let me ask you a question in all seriousness. No, here's the question. Here's a serious question, though. What's preventing you from doing what the Amish do, get off the grid and just go live like that right now?
Well, the Amish are religiously excluded.
No, forget the religious component.
Well,
but the Amish are a great example.
It's incredibly difficult to just pick up everything that you have, leave, and go into.
So you want to tell me how to live?
No, I'm not telling you how to live.
No. You are, because you're arguing for a governmental structure.
A lack of one, rather.
So even a lack of a governmental structure will then make me live the way you want me to live. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life.
However you want. What I'm saying is that
so you're okay with me having 5 houses and 6 yachts?
What I'm saying is that the society that I currently
Answer
live
the question.
I'm forced to wait. What was
you're okay with me having 5 houses and 6 yachts?
I'm not okay with you having them as if you are not using them.
Oh, not you. So all of a sudden you're now telling me how to live my life. I'm never going to tell you how to live your life, my friend. Why are you telling me how to live mine?
What I'm saying is that there are people that are literally starving, and that if you had extra houses and they literally just came and occupied the houses that you are not using, they are justified because you are being a massive asshole.
Being a massive asshole to not... So if someone forcefully takes away something that is sedentary, not being used in that purpose, it is a rightful means of theft.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So you don't believe in private property rights?
No, I do not.
You don't believe in private property rights, so we're getting somewhere. So you're not a libertarian, my friend. Libertarians believe...
I'm not a libertarian in the American... I'm not a libertarian in the capitalist sense. I'm not a libertarian in the American sense.
So stop using the word, because you're anything but it.
So I would agree with you that authoritarian socialist states like Cuba and Venezuela have been disasters. But if you look at the Scandinavian social democracies, they outperform the U.S. on all three.
You don't want to go down this rabbit hole, my friend.
The myth of the Scandinavian socialism.
They outperform the U.S. in GDP per capita, education outcomes, and life expectancy.
Still going down the path.
So let's
Here's
ask the
Charlie
question.
Kirk.
World Economic Freedom Index, which ranks each country by how much economic freedom there is. You do know that Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark rank higher than the United States. They have more economic freedom. That is not socialist. That is capitalist. In many ways, the Scandinavian countries are more capitalistic than we are. Where they're not is where is universal health care, or they give out a bunch of stuff. I don't want to live in a country with a 70% tax rate, but as far as you rank the Economic Freedom Index, they're much higher. So you would support the deregulation of the economy, the repealing of Dodd-Frank, the lowering of small business taxes, the abolition of the FICA tax. You would support all these things, which are inherently anti-socialist, inherently anti-democrat. Would you support those things?
So my question was actually, I agree that there are a lot of capitalist elements, and I think that's good. My question is, are there aspects in the Scandinavian system that we could incorporate into the United States?
Yeah, school choice in Sweden, for example. They have full school choice in Sweden. We should have full school choice in America. And not to mention, let's take Norway, for example. Norway has $1 trillion sovereign wealth fund. And how much do the Scandinavian states pay for military every year?
$0 because we pay for their military, and we should stop doing that. They're also homogeneous, so these are fundamentally 98% white countries, 5 million people, so it's about the size of New Jersey, and people are trying to compare it to a country with 330 million people, a country that's actually diverse and allows immigrants to come in. So you're comparing apples and oranges, and they just don't compare whatsoever.
You said socialism is non-American, so what do you think is pro-American?
Well, let's define what socialism is, right? Socialism is the government confiscation of private property. It tends to be the rule of the few, not the many, even though they profess to say it's the rule of the many. But the American, let's just say, economic tradition is private property rights, markets with proper restraint, entrepreneurship, the ability to flourish, trade, create new products. Socialism disincentivizes almost all those things. Socialism is built largely on envy and greed. And hilariously, the people that push for socialism, the rank and file, they don't realize that socialism actually just creates an oligarchy. It doesn't actually create a strong middle class, what they allege, to want.
So do you believe in taxes?
Actually, ideally 10% across the board. Yeah.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
believe in the confiscation of people's private property.
I mean, at some point it depends on if it's private property income or if it's necessary to fund government services.
But that's still a confiscation with a
Yes.
gun through police if you don't.
I fully acknowledge a moderate form of something I hate in order to fund a government, police, firefighters, EMT is necessary.
But that's still government confiscating
Of course
private
it is,
property,
yes.
which you said was socialism.
Yes, but have you ever called the cops?
No, I don't believe.
Okay,
I don't
you ever
like
gone to
cops.
a
They don't like me.
Okay, you ever gone to hospital?
No.
Okay, well, one day when you go to hospital or you use
But
the
yeah,
social
but,
service you
I'm
paid
saying
for.
you define socialism as a confiscation of private property, and you're saying that you
Well, let
believe
me
in
go fur-
taxes, which is a confiscation
Okay,
of
let me go
private
further.
wages.
Let me go for the unreasonable confiscation of private property, the elimination of private property altogether. You see, this is very sloppy intellectual thinking. That just because we want a police force, a border patrol, and we want clean streets, all of a sudden we become a socialist.
But those are still socialism.
Not
It's a
every
confiscation
form
of
of
private
government is
property.
socialism. Would you acknowledge that?
No, I don't.
Okay, then agree with
When
that.
does socialism begin and when does it end? And I'm saying
It-
you're
it-
saying
it's-
that
it's-
some level
it's
of
not like
socialism
an entrance
is, but no, but
into
if you're
Narnia.
saying if you're
It's like
saying
I'm all of a
socialism
sudden
is
here.
anti-American, I'm saying
It's a
socialism
spectrum.
is a part of America.
Okay, so you want to
even
know
if-
when socialism begins and
Yeah.
when it ends?
Yeah.
When you leave the free state of Florida and
Okay,
you
but
enter the unfree state of
What's,
New York,
what's the tax rate in Florida then?
zero.
No,
The income tax in Florida is zero.
But you still have to pay federal taxes. So if you have to pay taxes at all, it sounds like Florida's a socialist state.
So are you trying to say America's currently socialist?
Yes, that's
Okay,
what I'm saying.
I would agree. We're going more in that direction. So,
Okay, wait, you just said that America is socialist, but you said Florida's not socialist. So Florida's part
Well-
of America. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, but the federal project right now is more socialist than it is free market. Yeah. So to be even more clear, the closer you get towards the government owning a majority of your labor and your goods, the further and further closer you get to socialism. California is that.
Yeah.
Now, I would love for the federal government to get rid of FICA tax, to get rid of, the excess income tax. I've been clear. I think 10% across the board, fine. We need a military. You might not agree. We need a police force. We need a border patrol. We need basic social services that are a safety net, not a hammock. But I do not believe in this over-the-top type taxation. If you want to talk about other types of taxation that everyone here is paying, it's inflation. Adam Smith was one of the greatest thinkers and discoverers in human history. Okay, good. We agree. So, anyway, I don't know what happened to I'm sorry?
I don't know if you've read, like...
I've read Marx and Engels. I've read...
You read Adam Smith in his entirety?
Yeah, so an inquiry into the cause of the wealth of nations, I have, yes.
Right.
So where he observes the invisible hand, observes people that...
Yeah, so you know that the invisible hand is a physical hand, right? Like this
Oh,
is
no,
a
I actually understand it's a metaphor. So he actually didn't create anything, he discovered it. So we all operate in markets one way or the other.
No, I know, and I'm quite familiar. So I'm wondering if you read the chapters where he talks about socialism and how socialism is actually quite good to like keep two societies together. Like it's a fascinating.
No, so he talks about voluntary constructs that are created in communities, not government coercion. Two totally different things. No, he does. He never advocates for coercive government intervention. He never talks about high taxation or regulation or price gouging, things that the left talks about. Well, can you reference what part of the inquiry into the cause of wealth of nations he talks about? Well, because it doesn't exist. Right. So Adam Smith discovered free market capitalism in the modern era. He didn't create anything. Where Marxism and communism was created by people that wanted to really create power.